don't think we can go too far without mentioning the number one overall pick, and that's going to be Cam Ward, your guy out of Miami who finds his way with the Tennessee Titans. Kind of having a quiet camp. There's not a lot of drum beats going around him, but the news we are getting is very positive, and he looks really good. So, Coach, I'll let you take it away first.
Well, that's been the story of the all season for Cam Ward. Like, no one said a word about it, and they spent all their time talking about every single pass that Shador Sanders makes, and no one's mentioned Cam Ward of the Titans. I have been a big believer in Cam Ward for a while. We know that his weapons are pretty bad currently outside of Calvin Ridley. Gunnar Helm, they're saying, is looking good in camp. There's some guys like A.O. Manor and some other guys that are trying to make their presence felt there to help the Titans a little bit. I did see today where Cam Ward, after practice, they asked him how the offense was looking. And in true Cam Ward fashion, he was really honest and said it would just look really mid right now. He said that included him. He had work to do. He had to improve. He had to get better. But that's Cam Ward. Like, Cam Ward is a hard worker. He's a really high character guy. He's a dude that's going to own whatever he does. I expect him to be very mid this year. I mean, with the weapons he's got around him and that team on offense, I don't expect anything other than that. But I do think he's going to flash the potential to show what he's capable of in the next 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Cam Ward is just tempering the expectations based around the weapons there. I mean, you mentioned them. It's a lot of unprovens. Now, we both have been on record saying we really like Calvin Ridley this year just because he's going to get a ton of opportunities. So there's a lot to like there for Calvin Ridley. This run game of Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, is that going to be something that adds up to anything? I don't know. I don't think it's going to necessarily be anything to shake fantasy. But we've also talked about this. If Cam Ward stays healthy and he plays 17 games, don't be surprised if he sneaks into that, top 15 quarterback range, just given the opportunity that he has, where he's going to get to sit back there and throw the ball a ton. The Tennessee defense last year, not necessarily spectacular, but they definitely overplayed their abilities. And we've talked about that a little bit too before, Coach. I think you said they gave up the least amount of points in the entire league. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's a solid defense. If the Titans could just produce somewhat average on offense, then this is a team that could win 7 or 8 football games. I did see today, speaking of guys we liked in the past, saw Cam Ward threw a deep strike over the middle to Jaquan Jackson, who proceeded to drop it. Like, the dude's fast. I had high hopes for him as a really late sleeper stash last year, and it's just not going good for me there.
It never really added up for him. Now, he didn't get a ton of, necessary runway for him to really take off and showcase his talents. But at the same time, you got to prove it, man. And it's plays like that where Cam Ward's not going to accept that. The coaching staff's not going to accept that. There's several guys there. I mean, we've talked about Calvin Ridley. You mentioned Io Manners there. Is it Chimere Dike, however you say his name? Apologies if that's wrong, but he's there. There's some players in there that are going to get that opportunity to showcase their talents and, try and be the big play, the splash plays for these teams, or for this team, excuse me. But, can they step up and do it? I don't know. Well, they're not necessarily high capital picks that were made. I mean, Cam Ward was the number one overall pick. And after that, these guys were selected in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, and I saw the GM was really honest with that when he just said, this roster is not great right now. It's just not, and there's a lot of room for improvement. I do expect a big year from Calvin Ridley as a result. Like, that dude's going to get peppered with targets. He's far and away their best player. Like, if it's redraft, I'm doing all I can in rounds 4 or 5, somewhere in there, to try to snatch up Calvin Ridley. I expect a really big year from him.
Yeah, I think so too.